If you wanna find me, yeah, I'm in the front row with my 2 tickets on me. I'm in the front row. It's the best place to be. I'm in the front row. Best place to be. Yeah. If you wanna find me, yo, I'm in the front row with my 2 tickets on me. I'm in the front row. It's the best place to be. I'm in.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the In the Front Row YouTube channel. I am your host, Dylan, and joining me today is my brother, Dustin, and we are super excited because we are launching our new show called Double Trouble. And
about time, man.
Yes, we've been working on this for a while, and we're so excited. This special launch Sunday for you guys, and the first episode is going to be a great one because we are talking about quarterback movement inside the NFL.
And Shireen loves her quarterback.
Yes, she'll love this episode, right? A lot of quarterback movement going down or will go down in this off season. So it's something that we want to talk about. And what we're going to do is predict all 32 teams that we'll have up on INTHEFRONTROWLA.com as this episode airs. So go check that out. But before we get into our predictions, we want to do a order of business here because about an hour before we taped, Matt Stafford was traded. So obviously one answer is given to us this offseason.
I was wrong. But
Here in Los Angeles, he was actually traded to the Los Angeles Rams for Jared Goff, 2 first-round picks, and a 3rd-round pick back to Detroit. Your reaction to the LA Rams getting a new quarterback? Remember, a lot of speculation that Goff was going to be gone, and the Rams made the move.
Well, the first report was Sean McVay and Jared Goff needed marriage counseling. Well, the equivalent to marriage counseling. So I think that was pretty, obvious to see in the future of the Rams trading Jared Goff. I think they upgraded. I think Matt Stafford, no one can argue, he's definitely an upgrade over Jared Goff. I just don't see them getting over the hump in the NFC with Matt Stafford. I still think they have a lot to fix. I think their defense is stout. I don't think that's the problem. I still look at the offensive side of the ball, and I don't know if you agree with me or not. The Rams are kind of like the Ravens. They don't have a number one. Like, Matthew Stafford has obviously a better arm than Lamar Jackson, but I would take Lamar over Matt Stafford any day. And Matthew Stafford, can I just say this? And no one wants to say this, I guess. He's been on plenty of talented teams in Detroit. He's had plenty of talented receivers. When you go back to Calvin Johnson, you look this year with Galladay and Marvin Jones. He's had plenty of number ones in Detroit. He's had plenty of decent running backs in the backfield. And he's never been able to win, even when Jim Caldwell, who I think he should have had another shot as a head coach in the NFL, when he was there, he couldn't win. They won one playoff game, or they actually made the one playoff game and lost the playoff game, excuse me. So if I'm a Rams fan, I'm not that excited about Matthew Stafford being traded to the Rams. I think it's an upgrade and it makes them more competitive, but it doesn't get him to the Super Bowl. I don't know. I just don't see it.
It's a difficult division for Matt Stafford being traded. Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray guarantees in the division. The 49ers, their quarterback opening – or their quarterback position, I guess, is still open. There's a lot of speculation who's going to be there next season. A difficult division. Many argued that it was the best division in football last year. Almost, I believe, except the 49ers. The Cardinals
were injured, too.
Yeah, the 49ers were injured. The Rams made the playoffs. The Seahawks made the playoffs. The Cardinals were 1 game away from making the playoffs.
Need a new head coach to do that.
It's a difficult division. And my issue or my concern with the Rams trading for Matt Stafford is durability issues. How many injuries he's faced over the years, how many games he's missed because of shoulder issues, because of other issues. He's going to have a difficult post-NFL career. But I think that he's a talented quarterback. He comes but Detroit is kind of a air, flight system. They throw the ball there. They pass the ball a lot.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see moving forward how a brilliant offensive mind like Sean McVay gets an upgrade, and maybe from Jared Goff, a person who I think turns the ball over less, throws for more yards. Again, it was an air-rated system. But it's going to be interesting to see what Sean McVay can do with now Matt Stafford in town, because you said Matt Stafford has talent. The Rams have talent on the offensive end. So I want to see.
Do they, though?
I think they do. I think they have a lot of talent on the offensive end that
I like Cam Akers.
Sean McVay can work with. Guys, we will see Matt Stafford getting traded. Yeah. But we want to get into our predictions that we're going to put on INTHEFRONTROWLA.com, and we want to highlight some of the, I guess, more notable predictions that are going to happen in the next few weeks, or I should say the next few months, rather, in the NFL offseason. And the first one, we were going to go division by division, but the first one we want to talk about is Deshaun Watson. Obviously, a lot of reports coming out about Deshaun Watson. the new head coach is saying Deshaun Watson is going to be a Houston Texans, according to Field Yates.
Okay.
Yeah, the GM says they have no interest in moving Deshaun Watson, but Deshaun Watson about a week ago officially requested a trade from the Houston Texans. I believe about 12 hours ago, he removed the Texans from his social media profile.
He did.
I don't know if that
he said for football inquiries contact. That was funny.
I don't know. I don't know if that was more shade of the report. I don't know the timing of when the head coach said it, and versus when he did it. So obviously Deshaun Watson wants out of Houston. Where do you see Deshaun Watson? I know we discussed this when Blaine, my good friend, was on.
Yeah.
But your updated Deshaun Watson sweepstakes.
First of all, I want to make a statement. Well, that sounds dramatic. But I think Deshaun Watson is the second most valuable quarterback in the NFL. When you look at a franchise, I think Patrick Mahomes will always be number one. You always yell at me for being obsessed with Patrick Mahomes, but good reason to. I think Deshaun Watson's at number two. I think his age, he's 25 or 26. Right in his prime, he had the best season of his career, even though they were 4-12. Still statistic-wise and just performance-wise, he did. Now my prediction. I'm sticking with the Miami Dolphins. I think Deshaun Watson's going to be in South Beach. I've already said this on when I was on your show previously. Get Allen Robinson. Sign Allen Robinson. He's a free agent after this season. Get him out of Chicago. We all know what's happened there. Keeping Matt Nagy, which is ridiculous. But get him out of Chicago. So bring Allen Robinson to Miami, let Deshaun Watson be his quarterback, and they have a talented defense. And then you have Allen Robinson, you have a nice tight end, Gesicki, and you also – Devontae Parker was, injured this year, so he comes back. You have some nice weapons, and I've always preached Brian Flores being an excellent head coach. I think he's currently a top 5 head coach in the NFL with what he's done. The Dolphins were supposed to be a layup 2 years ago. They won those 5 games, and obviously by 1 game missed the playoffs. So – I love Brian Flores, and I respect Brian Flores, and I think Deshaun Watson does as well. So bring him to Miami.
It's interesting. I said about a few weeks ago, this is how things quickly can change. I said he was the best fit. I still think the best fit for Deshaun Watson is the 49ers. I think the best fit for him, you have George Kittle. You have a lot of talent offensively, defensively. Injuries this year really obviously hurt the 49ers. They were a Super Bowl team a couple of years back with a full and healthy roster. I don't know if I love it as much now after the Matthew Stafford news. Because if you look at the division now, I know Deshaun Watson is better than Matthew Stafford and more talented than Matthew Stafford, especially at this point in Deshaun Watson's career. There's a lot more upside for Watson than Stafford. But you have Russell Wilson, you have Kyler Murray in that division. It's a competitive division in quarterback play. It's a competitive division in team play. Like I said, 2 playoff teams, nearly 1 made the playoffs, and the 49ers were injured. So I don't know if Deshaun Watson is looking at that and saying, I really want to go to the 49ers to face Russell Wilson every year or Kyler Murray every year. I know I actually now think Deshaun Watson will go to Chicago. And I think if you look at Chicago's history since at least we've been alive, they have not had a good franchise quarterback paired with their good defensive
Jay
team.
Cutler, man. No.
They haven't had that quarterback. They thought it was going to be Mr. Trubisky, and people were speculating that Deshaun Watson, I don't know. I don't think he's a petty person, but he won't go there because
he's petty. No, he's petty.
People are speculating there was an issue because of the Bears.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, drafting Mr. Trubisky over Deshaun Watson in that 2017 draft. I think he'll let it go. Adam Schefter, I think, actually reported that there's no issue there. He would still consider going to the Bears. It's a good fit for me. I think you can retain Allen Robinson. You have a good defense.
Same
idea. The Bears also have shown in the past with the Khalil Mack trade, and I believe there's another trade that is escaping my mind right now, that they are not afraid to move some pieces. So they are not afraid.
Neither the Dolphins. We saw it in last offseason.
To make a big move. The only issue is I know I was reading some of the Bears, the draft capital and the salary cap are going to be issues moving forward. And Deshaun Watson hasn't ruled out the Bears. I think Chicago would upgrade with Deshaun Watson, and I think it puts them to perennial Super Bowl contenders in the AFC.
If he goes there,
And if you're Houston, I agree with the point that Max Clever made. Ship him out of the AFC. I don't think you move him within a division that you have to compete. I mean, you're going to play him in the Super Bowl. I think that point might be a little overblown. We're going to move on here. And where do you guys think Deshaun Watson is going to end up? Obviously, we'll find out in the next few weeks if he stays in Houston. We're going to, I guess, kind of go by division in here and point out the notable quarterbacks. Again, all our predictions will be up on INTHEFRONTROWLA.com. So we'll see. I really hope to ask Dustin how long this took me.
A long time.
I guess we'll start with the AFC, and we'll start with the AFC East. Obviously, the only guarantee, really, you could say in the AFC East is Josh Allen in Buffalo, taking his team to the AFC Championship this season before losing to Kansas City. Obviously, Josh Allen has a bright future. They've really done well with him.
I think they might trade him. Just kidding.
You said Deshaun Watson's going to Miami.
Yes.
I think Miami will retain Tua. I know he's for now. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback for
Can
them.
I ask you a question? If you're Houston and you're looking, can I get better draft picks and Tua, or do I get Mitchell Trubisky? What are you taking? Because Chicago's gonna have to give up more than just Mitchell Trubisky. So I think Miami has more pool than Chicago.
No, I think Miami does have more pool than Chicago. I would agree with that point. I just think I don't know if Brian Flores wants to move Tua. I don't know if they've commented on Tua as the franchise quarterback or not. I think Tua has
didn't have a problem benching him.
A lot of. I think he has a lot of. I think he has a lot of growing to do.
Yeah, he does.
It's going to be interesting to see. I think for now they are going to keep him. Maybe they bring back Ryan Fitzpatrick, another veteran. Maybe they bring in another veteran like I don't know Cam Newton, maybe to kind of continue to mentor Tua. I think so. Another notable one is what the Jets are going to do. Sam Darnold is kind of on the chopping block here. Do the Jets retain Sam Darnold?
No. Actually, I'm not going to say where he goes, but because that's later for the show. But I think the Jets, and I'm about to make a statement for Jets fans, the Jets fans are always hyped up. They're like, yeah, we're in the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes, all this. I think the Jets are going to do a classic New York Jets here. I think they're going to draft Zach Wilson at number 2 when Justin Fields is the better quarterback than Zach Wilson. And I think they're just going to be right back where they started. Because you got to realize, I know Joe Douglas has done a good job since he's been there, but it's still the Jets, man. It's still, they find ways to make classic mistakes. It's like every New York pick gets booed. It's like the Knicks when they draft Kristaps, he turned out to be great, but something like that, or draft, I don't remember the rest of their draft picks since they're terrible. But and they boo all the guys. They're like, boo. That's what the Jets are going to do. I think they take Zach Wilson at number 2 because people think Zach Wilson has more upside than Justin Fields, but he was playing cupcakes all year. He was at the bakery, man, playing some cupcakes all year. So I think Justin Fields is better. I think the Jets take Zach Wilson at number 2, and unfortunately, it doesn't work out as planned.
I actually think they're going to keep Sam Darnold. I think the Jets, looking at mock drafts, I think they'll pick someone as an offensive lineman. I think they need to because I think you got to protect your quarterback. That's an underrated value in the NFL. Everyone or every fan wants you to draft the big quarterback or the big flashy wide receiver. You got it. It starts up front. It starts up front in the trenches. Yeah. And I think the Jets will do more of a pick like that. And I think I'm not the biggest fan of Sam Darnold. I think I've said it on the network. I think he's too turnover prone. I don't think he has that big of an upside.
He's also playing for Adam Gase.
So I want to see how he reacts in a new system before I make too much of
You say he's staying there. So
too much of a judgment. No, I think because I don't think they'll draft a quarterback.
New coach.
I think they'll. I want to see what he does in a new system. I think Robert Saleh was a terrific hire. They actually made a terrific move there. So we'll see where the Jets move forward. They have the number 2 pick. There's speculation that the Jets will trade for Deshaun Watson. They have the best package with draft capital and I believe salary cap wise to make some moves, but I
think Zach Wilson. I'm sorry, Zach Wilson. I think he actually can be successful. So I forgot they hired Saleh as coach, and I really do like that hire.
You were really taking back your shade. Another team in the division.
No, I still think Justin Fields will have a better career, so I still think they'll mess up at the end of the day. But I think he'll be better than people think.
Another team in the division that we want to get to are the New England Patriots. You never know what Bill Belichick's going to do.
He's going to get Deshaun Watson.
What do you think the Patriots do?
I think they go and get Jimmy Garoppolo. I think San Fran is time to move on. He hasn't been on the field. And also you saw in that Kansas City game, San Fran had that game. I love Patrick Mahomes, but San Fran had that game. So I think they go get Jimmy Garoppolo because I think Bill Belichick always loved Jimmy Garoppolo. I just think, the story with Tom Brady forcing his hand and getting Jimmy Garoppolo out of town. So I think he'll probably get Jimmy Garoppolo for a 6th or 7th round pick, and he'll be good in New England again.
I actually agree with you. I think Jimmy G comes to New England. It was interesting to me because I was obviously thinking that Deshaun Watson was going to go to San Francisco a few weeks back now. I think he might end up Chicago. You never know. Yeah. We'll see at the end of the day. I think Bill Belichick – I just don't know if Bill Belichick is going to go the draft route. That's the only thing that scares me. Maybe if there's a quarterback that falls to him, maybe he'll try to develop a quarterback. But we even see when he drafted Stidham that he still hasn't –
or third.
Yeah, but he still hasn't – I don't – he didn't start him when there was an opportunity to start him. I remember I predicted that Cam Newton was going to go to New England. He went to New England. I think he likes a veteran quarterback like that, someone who's had experience. Obviously, he was with Tom Brady for all those years.
Yeah.
And I think Jimmy G brings winning, and I think Bill Belichick was a big fan of him. We're going to move on. I guess we'll move on to the AFC South, talk about a few of the notables there. Again, all these predictions are going to be up on InTheFrontRow.com. We can't sit here and talk all day. There's a lot in this division. The Titans retaining Ryan Tannehill is pretty obvious. I believe is he on the last year in his contract next year? It's either the last year or 2 years left in his contract. I don't remember the exact facts. Obviously, with the Texans, I have them, Mr. Trubisky going to the Texans in the trade. Do you have the Texans?
I have Tua.
You have Tua.
I think Tua has more potential, and then I think Houston,
I like Mr. Trubisky. I think he has potential.
No, he doesn't.
You saw spurts. Okay, the Bears mishandled him, especially last season. They mishandled the way that they started off 3-0. You can't bench a quarterback after starting 3-0.
When you get booed at a Bulls game after you get drafted second, that's all I have to say.
You can't bench a quarterback after starting 3-0, and I think it messed with his head. I think he'll be successful as he can in Houston in that shit pile.
I just think wow. I just think Tua. The Dolphins or the Houston sees more potential, which is why they make the trade for Deshaun Watson, and they get a whole bunch of draft picks. And Miami has the capital.
Remember, Deshaun Watson does have a no trade clause.
But he said Miami was the second team on his list.
Where do you think the Colts go? Philip Rivers retires in the offseason.
This is a big one.
Where does Indianapolis go with their quarterback in 2020?
This most likely will not happen. But you
gotta be logical here.
Well, no, it's not. It's not being logical. It's just being. I don't know if they're willing to do this, but they have to go somewhere because obviously Philip Rivers is going to be playing in his backyard with his kids. I think Indianapolis goes to Sam Darnold. I think Frank Reich is the perfect coach for Sam Darnold. He took care of Carson Wentz, I'm a big fan of Carson Wentz, as you know, but Carson Wentz was very turnover prone without Frank Reich as his coordinator. I think Frank Reich is a perfect coach to limit Sam Darnold's turnovers. And if the Jets are looking to move on, I don't think the trade package is so steep. So I really like the Colts going and stealing Sam Darnold and him resurrecting his career in a smaller market than New York. I just think New York is too big for him.
I actually think the Colts go the way of the draft. I think that there'll be a few quarterbacks there. They draft 21st, I believe, so they might get like the 4th or 5th quarterback of the round.
I think the quarterbacks are all gone. That's why
I was thinking someone like Mac Jones and from Alabama. If he drops to them, obviously, I think he could go earlier. Bill Belichick, watch out. I think Bill Belichick could draft someone like Mac Jones because he's a veteran college quarterback. So that might just a dark horse there. But if he falls to Indianapolis, I think, like I said, he's a veteran quarterback who had a terrific season, was in the Heisman running. Obviously had weapons like handed on a silver platter.
You saw what Tua did in the NFL.
But I think they try to develop Mac Jones. Do you think I think we both are on the consensus that Jacksonville has the number 1 pick and they will go Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. I honestly think Jacksonville should go Justin Fields. It's not going to happen.
Me too. But
I think just a quick statement. I think Justin Fields is the best quarterback in this draft.
Me too.
And will turn out to be the best quarterback in this draft. But I think he might be the third quarterback selected in the draft.
I think he is.
We're moving on to the AFC West.
Gotta look.
Okay. Obviously, quarterback's guaranteed. Justin Herbert is probably going to be the Chargers quarterback after his Rookie of the Year campaign. Patrick Mahomes obviously just signed a big deal and goes for his 2nd Super Bowl in a row this upcoming Sunday. Derek Carr, there's questions if he will be traded. I think he stays in Las Vegas. I just don't think. I think they should maybe trade.
He's still under contract.
Get rid of their head coach. No shade. I agree. But the Broncos are an interesting team in the AFC West. Obviously, the Broncos need an upgrade or are looking for an upgrade at quarterback. Does Denver get an upgrade?
No. I think Denver, their best shot is to call Tim Tebow out of the ESPN booth because Tim Tebow won games. No, I think Denver stays with Drew Lock. I just think I don't know where else you go. So if you look at the big quarterbacks, we were talking about this earlier. Deshaun Watson has 0 interest. It's been reported to go to Denver. Also it's tough because you were saying you don't want to play in a division with Patrick Mahomes every single year. He's going to win the AFC West every single year. So I just think they're kind of in a lose-lose situation, I guess you want to say, or like a losing situation. They lose out. I think they stay with Drew Lock, and he's got to get some tutties, as you heard him like that. I like Drew Lock, though. I don't know why people hate on Drew Lock.
I like the swagger
him.
of Drew Lock. I think he stays in Denver. I think the only other option I could see is like a veteran quarterback like Byron Fitzpatrick.
Maybe.
Someone Cam Newton.
But is that worth derailing Drew Lock's career?
I think I don't know their salary cap situation.
Yeah.
The AFC North isn't not that interesting of a division. 3 quarterbacks probably retain Baker Mayfield, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson. We'll see in the pocket like Burrow can come back from the ACL injury. I love Joe Burrow.
I do too. Because he's going to be good.
Yeah. But the Steelers, an interesting debate. If they keep Big Ben or Big Ben retires, I think they keep Big Ben, do you?
Yeah. I think, and the reason I do, and I'll make this quick for this one, because I don't think it's that important, because I'm not a Steelers fan. But as we know. But I think their only shot was Matthew Stafford. I think if they went after Matthew Stafford, but obviously with him being traded before the show, I think they don't really have anywhere to go.
Yeah. Obviously, okay, we'll move to the NFC here. There's a lot to get through, isn't it? Quarterback movement.
We're doing good.
In the NFL in the offseason. We'll start with the NFC East, and it's an interesting division. Really, the only one that you could say you could technically name a starter is Daniel Jones in New York. He might fall under an 80-yard run.
They're in the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. Well,
yeah, but I don't think
they should be for this man.
The Cowboys and Dak Prescott, that situation. Where do you think the Cowboys go? Should they sign Dak Prescott?
Well, I'll just say this. If I was Dak Prescott, I would say no to them. That man was disrespected.
You know who else was Aaron Rodgers?
we can get to that. Hold your feelings. But I think Dak Prescott was disrespected. For people to like twist an narrative and say, "Oh, like they gave him a long-term deal," I don't want to hear about that. He was disrespected. You have to realize by me like almost getting my leg chopped off, or not really literally chopped off, but his ankle twisted. Yeah. That's how valuable I am. No, I'm not going to that injury. He was disrespected. And I think the Cowboys lose out. I think they have to settle for someone like Andy Dalton or something who's still on. I think he might have signed a 1-year deal anyway. Yeah. But bring back someone like that. Who wants to go to Dallas right now? I think Mike McCarthy is like Mike McCarthy's like 5 years. He should have like left his career in Green Bay. So I wouldn't want to stay there.
I think the smartest move for the Cowboys would be to sign Dak Prescott.
I don't think he does.
I don't think him personally. No, I'm saying as an organization, I think it's the smartest move. I don't think it's necessarily going to happen. I think they might franchise tag him, but there's a lot to lose with just franchise tagging him.
He's gone after next year.
Yeah. Yep. I think they'll have to retain someone like that and kind of move forward. The Cowboys, for how box office they are, they can never seem to get things under control. I think there's an issue, and I've been saying this for a while, and obviously it's a quarterback-based show, but I think Jerry Jones needs to take a step back from the media. I think him and I think his son may go out in the media now and do radio interviews. His son's the GM, right?
Yeah, Steven.
Yeah, and I think they both need to take a step back and that's why they hired Mike McCarthy. I wrote an article a while ago that Mike McCarthy was the perfect hire for the Cowboys. I think he can be the perfect hire for the Cowboys.
You should take that article down.
I think he can be. I think he's a proven Super Bowl winning coach. But I also think that Jerry Jones, he was hired because he has more of a calm demeanor. But I think Jerry Jones needs to take a step back and kind of he's hurting his team by constantly going out to the media. It's a whole other conversation.
And the one thing I'll say about it is I know like for ESPN can like make it some storylines, but I've always agreed with Max Kellerman. The Cowboys will never win as long as Jerry Jones is there because Jerry Jones, he needs to hire a coach with a lot of personality. If you're the Dallas Cowboys, he's a great marketer. And if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you need to hire someone with some flavor, some personality, and they don't. They hire
Lincoln Riley's out there.
I've always wanted Lincoln Riley to be there. And I said that on the show. But real quick, like Max Kellerman said, he's always going to hire someone that Jerry Jones will get to success and not the coach. That's why Jimmy Johnson was ran out of town. Yeah. So I just think they'll never win because of that. Basically.
Yeah. Alrighty, we're going to move on. The Eagles, obviously, there's that press conference. We're going to
loaded.
We're going to talk about viral moments on this show. That's what this show is based off of, viral moments in fashion. Obviously, this is a special episode to get it launched. Yeah. But guys, looking forward in the future, we kind of want to give you a glimpse of where we're going. And one of those moments that we can talk about was the Eagles introductory head coach press conference.
That was bad.
Do you think they keep Carson Wentz?
I think they do. I think before they hired that smart coach, I can't. No, before they hired him, I think I thought, or when they fired Doug Peterson, I should say, that showed me Carson Wentz was staying. And then they went and got a guy from Indianapolis, like as Ryan Clark calls him, Frank Reich Jr. When they went and hired him and tried to bring that system and what Frank Reich did, Carson Wentz is definitely staying. That was just like reading between the lines.
I don't like Carson Wentz as a. Oh, that sounds really mean.
I do.
I don't like him. I'm sure he's a very nice
Am I
person.
the mean one here?
No, I'm sure he's a very nice person, but I don't like
No,
Carson
not really.
Wentz and the upside that he has as a quarterback. I think his moment of 15 minutes of fame has already passed, and I just think he makes too many mistakes. He turns the ball over too much, and I think Jalen Hurts should be the starter. I think they're going to start Carson Wentz. I just don't understand what the guy was saying by like. Lowering
smart 15 times.
Yeah, but then he also said that he was going to make the system less complicated. I guess Doug Peterson's system was more complicated.
He was going to make it simpler.
Yeah, and talent
look complicated to other teams. Like, what does that mean?
And talent will win. If you guys haven't seen the press conference, it's a must.
He's like, we're going to
it's a must watch.
This is basically what he was saying. He was like, we're going to make it 4th grade level for our players, but also like it's going to look.
Will win.
Yeah, but it's going to look like calculus to the other teams. That's what he was saying.
Yeah.
I didn't understand.
Anyway, we're gonna move on to the Washington football team.
Yeah.
Obviously, Alex Smith was a starter last season until he got injured, and then Taylor Heineke was the playoff quarterback, and he played one hell of a game for coming in. He kind of Dwayne was was the quarterback for a few games before the strip club incident, or not the strip club. He hired strippers.
Yeah.
And then was released. One positive news I do want to shout out to Ron Rivera, who actually is cancer-free this week, announced that. So congratulations to him.
Congrats to him.
And obviously, we just want to send our congrats here from In the Front Row from beating a disease that, obviously, that's another show. But it's I want to give a shout out to him that beating that really has affected millions. But where do you think Washington goes, on a lighter note, where do you think Washington goes as a quarterback?
I think Washington actually goes to the draft. And I actually think they keep Taylor Heineke. I actually like Taylor Heineke as a quarterback, and I think they draft Mac Jones. That's where I have Mac Jones going. I think Ron Rivera was never a fan of Dwayne Haskins even before the stripper incident. I think he wasn't his guy. Like, Ron Rivera was hired after him, and he wasn't his guy. So I actually think they go to the draft and get someone like Mac Jones who can be a game manager for a little while. I don't think Mac Jones is going to be like a Pro Bowl or, MVP level player. I think he's going to be like a game manager is not insulting, but I think he's going to be really good at that. And that's where I think I think they're going to draft Mac Jones, but if I was Washington, I would stay with Taylor Heineke because I actually like him as a quarterback. I would give him a shot.
I think Trey Lance will end up in Washington. This was a difficult one for me because I was like, who could they draft? And I was looking at a few things. I think that I'm just drawing analogies here. I don't really obviously know what their plans are in the locker room. But Ron Rivera, Cam Newton was a tall kind of quarterback that led the system in a mobile way. Trey Lance, a tall kind of quarterback. And I'm trying to think, because I think they will go a development route.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think what Ron Rivera's quarterback ideally would look like. Obviously, they have a terrific defense. They have a terrific, well, now it'll be second-year running back. They have great receivers, receivers on the outside that
are in the Rams.
Yeah, are competitive. I think the only thing I'm missing from them is a quarterback. Obviously, they went 7-9 last year, but they still made the playoffs. I think Washington hasn't made the playoffs in back-to-back years since like the 90s or something.
Yeah,
so,
it's been a long time.
But they have a terrific head coach, so they are in good hands there. And again,
around too.
Yeah, again,
terrific GM.
Yeah, again, we want to congratulate him on being cancer-free. Obviously, that's a celebration for him and his family after a long fight. We're gonna move on to the NFC South, and then yes, that's fine. All right, we're gonna move on to the NFC South. A lot of interesting movements in the NFC South. Obviously, the Bucs probably will keep Tom Brady. There are rumors that if Tom Brady wins the Super Bowl, he's not retiring. I believe he signed a 2-year deal when he got there. But the other 3 teams really are up for debate in this division. Obviously, there's rumors, or what will the Falcons do with Matt Ryan is the first question.
Yeah, I actually don't have Matt Ryan starting next year. I just don't think he has it anymore. But
I don't either. I know who you have because I called this.
Yeah, we're going to Atlanta.
We didn't see each other
This is
yet.
the perfect quarterback for Atlanta, and the best quarterback in the 2021 NFL draft is Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields is a perfect fit. You already have weapons there. I'm really praying the Ravens trade for Julio Jones. But if you get Justin Fields, you have Julio Jones, you have Calvin Ridley, Austin went to Cleveland. I apologize. Hayden Hurst. That's what I was thinking about. Austin. So I think you have a lot of weapons there, and I think I didn't really like the hire of Arthur Smith, to be honest.
I wanted Raheem Morris to get the job.
Me too. I told you that for weeks. I thought Raheem Morris the interim coach for the Falcons, should have.
He's in LA now, right? He's the Rams defensive coordinator.
Yes. I think he should have gotten the job. I think Arthur Smith would be okay. But I really like Justin Fields in Atlanta. If you give Justin Fields weapons in a situation he can walk into, he's gonna be a great coach. Ignore his bad games this year. I don't want to hear about the Indiana game.
I think the Atlanta pick. I think Atlanta should go with Justin Fields. And Trevor Lawrence obviously is a lock pretty much to go number one. But I think I'm thinking logically here, and that what I'm seeing online is they're going to draft Zach Wilson as the number 4 pick. And I think that's what I put down. I would like to see them draft Justin Fields. I think the Jets. I think the Jets might draft an offensive lineman. It all depends. See, that's the variables. Do the Jets draft a quarterback? Do the Falcons not draft a quarterback and maybe go Matt Ryan and draft somebody else? I think they will draft a quarterback. We will see moving forward. They have a lot of weapons there.
They do.
And their defense improved.
They were playing well under Raheem Morris.
I think Raheem Morris should have gotten the job. Obviously, what's done is done. There's a whole other issue in the NFL with
head coaching hires.
with head coaching hires.
Yeah.
What about the Panthers? Teddy Bridgewater was the starting quarterback last season, and then he was benched or hurt. I can't remember. I didn't pay attention to Carolina that much.
Well, he was.
I know it's a baby's from Charlotte,
he was benched.
But that's about it.
He was benched mid-game.
I don't know why I just said that. And then obviously a disappointing first year for Teddy Bridgewater. So obviously Christian McCaffrey was hurt throughout the year. There's a lot of factors. Where do the Panthers go?
I'm actually gonna say Teddy Bridgewater starts week 1. But I think they draft Trey Lance. I think there's a lot of quarterbacks that come off the board in the first round. In the top, I think it'd be 19. I think 5 in the top 19 with Mac Jones going 19. I think Washington is 19th, or I think they're right around there. I think they go Trey Lance, but I don't think Trey Lance starts game 1. I don't think he's gonna be ready game 1. I think he comes in mid-season, kind of like Tua did. But I think a little different situation. So I think Teddy Bridgewater starts there, but Trey Lance eventually takes over.
I actually had the Panthers going with Justin Fields. I think he'll fall to the Panthers. I don't think he should.
Better not.
I don't think he should, but I think he will. And if he falls to you and is on a platter for you, you take Justin Fields. I don't want to hear about his bad game. Did you see him against Clemson? And it was impressive.
And no one here Alabama, no one had a shot against him.
That was a consensus pick easily from the start.
But
we'll move to the Saints. New Orleans, obviously Drew Brees retiring. He's been holding it down as the franchise quarterback in New Orleans. But Saints, obviously, with Sean Payton still at the helm, where do they go?
I think I'm just gonna say this. I think Deshaun Watson should give the Saints more consideration. I think they're obviously ready to now, but I think the Saints are way over the cap and don't have any situation where they can get Deshaun Watson because they're like 90 mil over the cap.
I think it's 110.
Or like 110. Yeah, they're way over the cap. Way more money than I'll ever have in my life. But I think they start Taysom Hill. I think they have to stay within the system. I think Sean Payton's a real big fan of Taysom Hill. He's said, Taysom Hill's really good in practice, and he can be a quarterback and not just like a, whatever, like a tight end. Not a tight end, but like the multi-positions he plays. So I think they actually start Taysom Hill at quarterback. And
I am actually going to go Jameis Winston. I think it comes down to which one he will retain. I think both of them might be free agents. But I think Jameis sets you up more to compete in the division. Obviously, Tom Brady's in the division. Obviously, it's going to be a division shakeup. We don't know if Matt Ryan's going to be there next season or rookies are going to come in the division. But I think that Jameis, I think you can still use Taysom Hill in the way you used him with Drew Brees. And I think it kind of gives you still that variable. So if you move him to quarterback, it takes away that variable. So I think that, and I think there were
they have enough weapons.
Reports that that he really liked Jameis Winston. He was impressed with Jameis Winston. And I have been saying for a while that Jameis Winston can be an elite quarterback. And
it's not elite.
I thought in the first 5 years he would win MVP. Obviously, that didn't happen. I think he should have stayed in Tampa Bay. Obviously, Tom Brady led him to the Super Bowl. But for more long term, I think they should have kept Jameis Winston.
No,
Anyway,
shit.
moving on. We're going to move to the NFC West, and it's really only one team to debate with the Matthew Stafford news.
Yeah.
To the Rams this evening. Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, obviously locks.
Mhm.
But there's one team that is kind of interesting to talk about. The 49ers, obviously Jimmy G is or was their starter. Is he going to be their starter, or what is it going to be or was? What do you think?
First of all, I'm just going to say, well, we're in the NFC West. Cliff Kingsbury should be fired. I think he's costing Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. If you have that team and you can't make the playoffs in the NFC, which is the weaker conference, no, that's another show for another day. I think Cliff Kingsbury's a coach. He's good looking. Can we just say it? I think San Francisco makes not the biggest moves. I think Deshaun Watson will be the biggest move of the offseason, but this is my biggest surprise, if you want to say. I think Dak Prescott ends up in San Francisco. It's the perfect system. You have I think Kyle Shanahan's shown to be a little, small in the big moments. He's had a couple instances. Yeah, I don't think so. I think he's had a couple instances with that, but I think Kyle Shanahan is one of the best play callers in the NFL. You put Dak Prescott, who's better than Jimmy Garoppolo, in that system, that play calling with all the running backs and Deebo Samuel and George Kittle, and a great defense, obviously with Bosa coming back and all that stuff. So I think Dak Prescott makes San Fran actual Super Bowl contenders, unlike the Rams.
I like Dak Prescott in San Francisco, so I wrote down as well. I think, obviously,
good marriage right there.
Yeah, I think with Kyle Shanahan, I think that if he learns to run the ball when he's off, he'll be fine. I think it's a little overblown. I don't know why he was airing the ball out with Jimmy G. Also, they came one pass away from still possibly winning, and then obviously in Atlanta, he gave up that big lead to
Matt Ryan took a sack.
Yeah, to Tom Brady. There were variables that also he wasn't the head coach at the time. So I think, but still, I don't know. But I like Dak Prescott coming. He's a mobile quarterback that can they have a great run game there. They have George Kittle. They have a lot of options in San Francisco. They have a good defense when healthy. They'll be balanced on both sides of the ball. They did just lose their defensive coordinator, so I want to see how that kind of translate. I know they hired somebody, but I can't. It's all escaping my head. Yeah. We'll see. One more division, the NFC North. We're going to do this one very quickly because there's a lot of people maybe Kirk Cousins is rumored to move out of Minnesota. I think he stays in Minnesota.
Yeah, I think he does too.
Jared Goff
he's aligned
start week 1 probably.
With kneecaps, boy.
I think they could.
That's like the worst hire in
NFL history.
It's like Adam Gase 2.0.
I think they could draft a rookie. We'll keep an eye on it. I have the Bears doing Deshaun Watson. Who are the Bears going with?
I have the Bears staying with Mitchell Trubisky. They have no other options.
And
they brought back Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy. So why don't
can we just talk about this? What? The Packers.
Here we go. I'll leave the floor to you. Aaron Rodgers is staying in Green Bay.
Aaron Rodgers.
Can we stop piping that? But I'll leave the floor to you.
Needs to stay in Green Bay, and I think that he has been disrespected from the Packers organization. Obviously, you knew how I felt when they drafted Jordan Love, and then obviously he went out and lost the NFC Championship game. I understand. I said book it to the Super Bowl. I was so confident that Aaron Rodgers was going to be there. He is still, I think, resume-wise, the most talented quarterback in the past. No, I wouldn't say resume-wise. I would say skills-wise, because resume you could argue Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But I think. Looking just overall in the past 20 years, you can say he's the most talented quarterback. I'm talking a little bit more tenure. I think Patrick Mahomes is more talented than him. If you look at a smaller sample size, and we'll see obviously a lot.
Deshaun Watson is more talented than
a lot is riding on this Super Bowl to kind of see if he can win 2 Super Bowls in a row.
Can I have a quick rebuttal? 2 sentences. 1, Aaron Rodgers had 3 drives within 1 score, 2 28-23, and 1 obviously 31-23, and failed on all 3 of them. One,
don't diss my man.
I'm just saying 1 technically wasn't his fault, but you had 3 shots before that 4th and goal play. 2, Aaron Rodgers is 1-4 in NFC Championship games, and that's just all I'll say. He comes up. He's never come up. He's won 1 Super Bowl. I'll give it to him.
Yes.
But all the other times he's come up small in every single big moment, and people want to say
Rodgers,
he's a talented quarterback. I'll take Deshaun Watson's talent over
Aaron Rodgers is that dude. If you look at the Packers organization,
he's great. He's top 5.
They have not set him up for success. He has a mediocre defense. He has a
He has the best offensive line in football with Devontae Adams, the best route runner in football.
For years, he didn't have a number 1 or elite receiver, and still led his team.
Tom Brady in New England.
But Tom Brady had a defense those past few years, and the defense started to revamp in New England. Tom Brady's
defense improved throughout the year.
If you compare,
they shut down Derrick Henry.
I'm actually wondering this.
What?
If you compare Tom Brady's talent versus Aaron Rodgers' talent, I'm wondering who had more talent. I would have to go back and look. I can't give you an exact answer.
Over the years?
Yeah, on top of my head.
Aaron Rodgers had more talent than Tom Brady.
I probably agree with that. He is that dude, is what I'm saying. And get that Rodgers rate. Guys, all these predictions are going to be up on INTHEFRONTROWLA.com, where we think quarterbacks are going. Obviously, you never know. And this is our first episode, so we are super, super excited. This is obviously a special launch of Double Trouble, and moving forward, we're excited to talk about everything across the board. We're going to talk about, I don't know, fashion and viral moments and everything. We're super excited. Speaking of viral,
we did this like 3 years ago with Adam Gase's press conference.
We've had a few press conferences in the past 2 weeks that have been. Can we just talk about that quickly?
Kneecaps.
That hire was. If you want to be successful as an organization, and your coach goes out and does that, how would you feel? I don't really.
He's like PC principal
it's
from
like,
South Park.
There's like movie. There's you watch movie moments and the speeches are obviously they're scripted and they're terrific, and that's like the complete opposite. You still understand it's real life, so you can't reshoot it, but you still had time to think about what you were gonna say. Yeah. And then I don't know. And can we just, since we love talking about viral moments here in the studio, can we talk about Bernie Sanders?
Oh yes, Bernie. That was a good one.
The memes from Bernie Sanders have been
sorry, I was texting work.
Have been amazing. So I know people they're overplayed. I still think they're hilarious. Guys, we have to wrap it up here for Dustin. I am Dylan here on Double Trouble. Go look at our predictions In the Front Row. And follow us on social media at INTHEFRONTROWLA on Instagram and Twitter. And we're gonna be on TikTok very, very soon. So keep an eye out.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, keep an eye out for that. We will see you next time. Peace.
You wanna find me, Joe? I'm in the front row. Got 2 tickets on me, I'm in the front row. The best place to be, I'm in the front row. So what's colder than ice and even hotter than a flame? I'll be in the front row, chilling out a